So since it looks like we're having problems with the minutes getting out, we'll postpone approving last month's meeting minutes until next month. And Holly said that she would not be on today, but she did ask me to pass on. So she worked with the church and they have times for the food drive. I don't have that pulled up, so let me pull that up real quick. So she's going to work on the she'll work with the church to get flyers created and send those out. And she'll have the flyers out for us for review. Let me see. I have the.
Justin?
Yes.
I had spoke with the boys, the chairman of Troop 107 that runs the can drive at the church on top of the hill.
Yep.
And gave Holly that contact, and she was going to try to get a joint effort going whereby they would run the can drive and we would run a food drive at the same location.
Okay.
And they would do advertising for us along with their, when they advertised the can drive, to tell people that if they had food for our drive, that the boys would bring that back with them.
Okay.
And I haven't heard back. I made the connection. I think Holly talked to the other lady. I just spent a few minutes trying to find the contact on my computer, on my email list, but what it did is knock this screen off, and
Yeah.
I can't be in two places at once. But I would be happy to make that contact for her again if needed.
Okay. So she didn't mention that in her email on our update, but it looks like the time that we're looking at is April 24th until May 8th. But she said that she'll get the draft flyer out tomorrow. And then we'll have a chance to review it whenever it comes out. Just for future, because we're having so many problems with our email distro. If she sends it, I'm going to send it out to the Veterans Advisory Committee email, and I'll send it out to everybody's personal email. So you might get it twice, but I'm doing that to try to figure out what's good. I want to make sure everybody's getting the information while I try to work through this email problem that we're having. And I will shoot her a note about your contact.
The lady, the chairman from 107, said she'd be glad to work with us.
Okay.
She sounded very positive. I think she mentioned May 7 as the date, but I'm not sure. Again, I'll check that out and I'll get that back to you and Holly.
Okay, sounds good. Any other questions or comments on the food drive? All right, Sean, what's the latest on our meet and greet?
Okay, I did reach out to Ron Dennis, property manager at Our Lady of Hope Parishes, and I haven't heard back from him yet, so I'm not really sure where they stand, if they're ready to go or not. I had a conversation briefly with Shannon at the Shannon Smith at the senior center, and her calendar is wide open with the exception of one day in May. So if we were to go the senior center route, that gives us a infinite option, so to speak, on an evening gathering. And as we found out earlier, the overtime would be taken care of. I can't anticipate us being in the building much later than 9:30, 10 o'clock, which would be fine. So I would almost, as much as I like St. James hall as an option. I think maybe we should just try to go with the senior center, just for the ease of access and all of the above, you know, timing and such as that. So
John,
that would be my recommendation.
with regard to St. James Fall, they started tearing up their tile floor yesterday. And
Okay.
they announced today that one of the functions that we planned in that hall on, I believe, the 16th of April, they're thinking about postponing it because the floor may not be ready by then.
Okay,
But that's an update on that location.
right. Well, I kind of assumed something to that effect. So again, I would circle back to the senior center. And now for it, really, we just have to look at the calendar in general and maybe decide on what would be a good day and time. And then, you know, we can work on our meet and greet agenda and start advertising, going from there.
Sounds good.
One of the things we did talk about, advertising it, you know, the various options. I was thinking of maybe the one of the sign companies. We have a couple local sign companies that might, you know, step up and, you know, maybe do not a billboard per se, but a poster board of some sort, something like that. If we wanted to put like say a table tent at a couple of street corners, or at, you know, say the senior center itself, you know, maybe some bigger poster type flyers, just to get, you know, get more eyes on this thing.
Okay. Let's look at that. And then also, do we have, I can't remember, does the senior center have a TV and tables? Like, do we know everything that?
So at the senior center, they have a television on the wall, and the room is somewhat divided, so that the television, where the television is placed, there is also a row of about 8 round tables that would probably seat 6 to 8 people. As we talked about originally, we could maybe have a movie running if people would have, say, bring children or whatever, have something running on the television. And then there's a section on the side where they do some crafts and things like puzzles. Oh yeah, well, speaking of, that's the only restriction. There's a table with a crossword puzzle. Don't touch the crossword puzzle. So, but then next to that is an area where they sit down, and I don't know if they do like sing-alongs or whatever, but there's, you know, we could have a little meeting area there, or maybe I was thinking put our tables with whatever information we're trying to hand out there. And then on the opposite corner is an open area where they generally they put a couple of 8-foot tables, and they have like coffee and donuts in the morning. So essentially it's set up, and we don't really have to move anything, or
Okay.
you know, if anything else, we bring in a few extra chairs or something to that effect.
That works.
Yeah.
So it sounds like then the only thing that we would need to do is the advertising, see if there was some signs, that if somebody was willing to donate some signs.
Yeah.
And then that's it.
If you're looking for a sign company, I'd like to suggest Sunshine Sign over on Route 30. They did a lot of work for our VFW over in Westboro.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're very reliable, very dependable.
That's that was on the list.
So
Okay.
as far as the date goes, do you have any in mind?
I was kind of thinking late April,
Okay.
so you don't get wrapped up in, you know, with May. Everyone starts thinking of summer, Memorial Day, things like that, and you don't want to go into June where you have graduations and such as that too. So something late April.
So my thought would be our next meeting is April 20th. Would you want to do the week after that? So we would have one more meeting to talk about any issues right before it happens.
Sure. Okay.
And then I don't know what kind of schedules people like. When does Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts meet? Little leagues, practices. I don't know when all of that happens.
Generally on Monday or Tuesday nights.
So would a
I believe-
Wednesday,
I believe
Yep.
106 is Monday night and
Tuesday is 107.
it's Tuesday.
Okay.
Yes, Bill?
Yeah, Tuesday is 107 over at the church center of town.
Okay. And those are every night, every Monday and Tuesday nights.
Yeah, I know my son, his Cub Scouts is Thursday, every other Thursday.
is Wednesday a good, like, can anybody think of a Wednesday, something that happens on a Wednesday?
Okay. Well, Wednesday, the 26th is Administrative Professionals Day.
Oh, perfect.
They used to call them secretaries.
Okay,
So, yeah, that might be, okay. That looks like that's, all right. That'll be our target date then.
okay, that works.
26th?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, so not the 20th.
Thinking like 7 to 10 or what?
Or would something a little earlier, like 6 to 9?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of who all would go. My initial thought is we may see some of the older veterans.
Yeah, the ones that don't drive.
Yeah, so if we do it like at 6, the sun shouldn't be down yet.
Right.
But if we go a little bit later, then people with older kids might show up. I don't know. Hey, I'm trying to think through all this stuff, make sure we're accommodating people.
Sundowning only happens to really old people, okay?
Well, it's this, you know.
No,
don't know.
I get it. I get it. And I'm not trying to be frivolous here, just that I couldn't help it.
No,
All right, so now, how do we want to go about, obviously, okay, back up a little bit. Obviously, we're going to be leaning on a veterans agent to get us information, you know, that we can, you know, if be it pamphlets, flyers, whatever to hand out. Through your connection with the DAV, I'm assuming we could get some other type of materials there.
I've already got a lot of that stuff
Okay,
already.
and you know, what do we really want to put on the agenda other than, hi, we're here?
Honestly, that was kind of my big thing.
Okay, all right,
Was, you know, let's get out and just do something. We can work, you know, pizza and drinks.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
got to do the funding for that,
yeah.
but I mean that shouldn't be too much.
Well,
Can you establish a Zoom session for this? Or do you prefer face to face?
Well, I prefer face to face, but I'm thinking I don't know what, like, the select board has their meetings on I think they have a meeting on Wednesdays, don't they, Bob?
Tuesday night.
Tuesday. It would depend on who else was using the Zoom links.
Hmm.
And because this isn't necessarily like a meeting, I don't want to take those links away necessarily. So maybe as we get closer, we can take a look at it and see.
Okay.
I mean, Andy, not to say no, but if you do it like a Zoom meeting and you set up the camera, what are you going to be showing? You know, if we're moving about the space, we're not standing at a table just handing out information, you know, and beyond, if we're really just, you know, like I said, trying to get people in the door, put a name and a face together and start making some connections that way, you're beyond introductions. What would we be putting? You know, you want to hold up a piece of pizza, say, hey, come on down. You know?
Yes.
So, you know,
Would the people necessarily, could we ask them for, we could have a question and answer session. We could have people write down what questions they have, how we can help them. If someone asks a question, one person asks a question, several people probably have the same question and haven't asked it.
So a lot of the people, when we sent out that introductory letter, we asked if people have problems, and a lot of people didn't. We had some people that came back with some questions that we provided answers to, and I sent that out to everybody, but I'm just afraid that we're not going to get the participation in that because we're still young.
Okay.
And we're doing these things to get out and to let people know, hey, we're here, we're doing things, here's information, we're a resource you can use. And I don't think we've built that up yet. We're starting to. So I see what Sean is saying, but like I said, if we can get the VSO there, Jeff, I think is his name. He said he couldn't be here tonight. He had another meeting that he had to attend. But if we can get him there, then it might be worth having a Zoom link to say, hey, we're going to have Jeff there. We'll be available for any questions you may have. It'll be a 30 minutes time between here and here. I could see it if we dedicated some time to that. But I think we need to make sure that we can get Jeff there. We can actually get some more stuff. So I'll reach out to Jeff about this.
I'm you don't want to make the agenda too busy, but we also want to be able to say, hey, come on down because the VSO is going to be there. This will be there, that'll be there. Other than saying, come on down and have pizza with a bunch of guys, type of thing.
Yeah. And if we do the Zoom link, I wouldn't have, I'd probably have to submit an agenda, but it would just be open floor kind of thing. Like, somebody's there monitoring the Zoom link. And then,
All right, Bob, you had a question?
you're on mute, Bob.
How that happened, that wasn't a minute ago. I was going to suggest that if we're going to have a traditional meet and greet, we should probably keep it just to the meet and greet, because my gut tells me that once people warm up a little bit, the conversation starts to flow. You're probably going to hear things that you might want to knock down and you might want to follow up on. I would recommend that any Zoom link that we send out be on a separate date, and perhaps it might just be Stoney and our VSO Jeffrey, and you could open it to the floor or whoever attends and take gripes, concerns, questions that way. Two separate events, and I got two reasons for that. A, the Zoom meeting would purely focus on helping these veterans with their questions or concerns, and B, we're doing an additional thing to add to our calendar to show the town, this is why you created this committee, this is what we're doing.
Yeah. No, I like that. That makes a little bit more sense, and then we can control it. So, okay. Let's do the Zoom link and the VSO stuff separate from the meet and greet.
Okay.
Yeah, one of them is a meet and greet, the other one could be called the listening session,
Yeah.
We do have Jeff Lucas Remillard on. We haven't even said hello to him since he come on.
It's all good.
How you doing, Jeff? Lucas.
I'm doing good. Tired.
Justin, will you be reaching out to the VSO to make sure he's open on that day?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I'll reach out to them. I will shoot Ethan. I'll shoot Evan an email. Now I'm getting names all confused. Shoot Evan an email about the funding for pizza and drinks. I think that's all that we'll need. And then as far as movie goes, I'm thinking, I think Top Gun 2 is out on Paramount Plus, which I have, and Lucas has given me he's giving me the nod, even though he's Army, we need to watch the Navy movie.
I joined the military because of Top Gun, the first one.
He just walked into the
You
room.
look like you're styling your hair like Tom Cruise, so I can, yeah.
I've always
I see
had
the resemblance.
Mhm.
So,
Tony, I don't
Yeah.
think we're gonna have to ask for funding for pizza and soda. I think we might be able to find businesses in town that would donate.
I'm sure, I just have not had any luck with the EDC guy getting back with me yet, so.
We can pursue that on our own. I think we'll be successful.
Sounds good. Then Bob and I will handle the pizza and drinks piece. Anything else for the meet and greet? No. All right. And then Sean, if you have any questions as it comes up, just shoot us all an email.
Yeah, well, yeah. Oh, don't worry. I'll be blasting them out.
Yep.
Okay.
So Bob, I'm going to turn it over to you for your 5K walk run.
So keeping on the theme of adding things to the calendar to show we're actually doing something. The idea of a 5K to raise funds to donate to the DAV guys.
Oh, we lost Bob again.
Again,
That's tough. That's tough when the Gable guy can't even get on.
I know he's been having problems all night long with this.
Oh no.
I hope he's not there still talking.
Does everybody have his phone number?
Yeah, but I'm sure he's working it. He's trying to get back in right now.
Yeah.
There he is. You're on mute again.
I have problems with my internet tonight. It keeps dropping out. So donating funds to the DAV. I spoke to Jen. Let me get back on track. And she was pretty confident that we could look at the calendar. It wouldn't conflict. It's not like they have a road race every month. So we could take a look at the town website and determine a weekend to do this. My first reaction was to have the event at Wyman Gordon, and that would kind of keep it all in one place and would require minimal participation from the police department, because they wouldn't, there'd only be maybe one officer out front just to regulate traffic coming in and out of the facility. But then as I drive by the facility every day, I notice that it's got more and more barricades up in different places. And so it's possibly not the most attractive place to hold an event like that. So then the second choice was to have it on the municipal campus, because I know there's another organization that has run one there recently. So what I have to do is go out and actually walk the campus and measure the distance, figure out what a mile is. And then I think the municipal center campus, especially right in front of the studio, is a perfect place to go, because the parking is readily available, and we can open the TV studio, the restrooms, men's and ladies' rooms are open to the public that way. And we can, if we're lucky, the start and the stop would be in the same place, or at least pretty near to each other. And again, as far as traffic flows goes, we're only talking about one officer on detail just to direct traffic. So, and I think if we promote it on social media, or if we ask the select board to make an announcement as we get closer to trying to roll it out, and then the people that I know in the Go Ruck community, we can put the word out. There's 3 or 4 different clubs in the area of people that like to do events. They put the miles in, they wear a ruck, and the ultimate goal is, supporting veterans. So we might be able to get some people to attend, and they will definitely want to make a donation. And Molly mentioned that it would be a great event for the scouts to come and participate in too. And it's mostly level ground. There's only a couple of inclines here and there, so it's not like we're climbing a mountain.
Yep.
I spoke with Evan about the protocols for following this idea to the end. And the town can't be involved. There were a couple of caveats. The town can't be involved collecting money and handing it over to another organization. However, if we invite our contacts at DAV and have someone in attendance, because we know that Mike, who helped Holly with the food drive, lives in Grafton. So if we had Mike or another representative of their choosing attend the event, he or she would physically collect the funds. We don't touch the money. It goes directly to the organization we're going to donate it to, and our hands are clean. So if that's something that we all are in agreement that might be a good event to try and kick off, then, you know, I'll pursue it further. That covers all the details as far as handling the money.
So I like the idea. Have you thought of a date?
No,
So we'll take a quick roll call vote on having a 5K at some point during the year. We'll leave the date open for now. Bill? Sorry, your first one. Is that an aye? Okay. Bill is a yes.
It's an aye.
Okay. Sean?
Yeah, aye.
Lucas?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Justin? Aye. So,
Yeah,
Bob? Yes, Sean.
So, Bob, couple of things. Could you define what you mean by municipal campus? Are you encompassing the high school area also around the municipal center?
so you can access the grounds. It's kind of a zigzaggy route, but I've done it before. If you start at the TV studio parking lot, and you can go either way, it doesn't really matter, but if you go up the street around the corner from the police station and then to the parking lot at the municipal center, and then you can then make your way onto the high school campus, and then around the perimeter of the high school campus, and then out front to the parking lot, and then you're back at the TV studio. Like I said, I just don't know what that distance would be. I've done it before, but I didn't measure it, and so I'll have to go out and do that.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I'll have to do is just notify Dr. Cummings that this is something we want to do, and just get the okay from him.
Because I'm somewhat familiar with the, we'll call it the campus. If we could not, maybe we could just go to the end of the municipal center. I'd have to walk it again. Can you go around the whole building without going out onto a public street? That would be one question.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I thought this might work, because you can walk on the sidewalk until you get to the corner, and then that short incline up the hill to the back of the municipal center, that's the only that doesn't have a sidewalk.
Okay,
So that is to get to the midway point and then turn right to the front of the municipal center and then continue on that way. If you want to keep people off the street, that might be the solution.
so now, as you already know, when you're having an event, or you sign up for a race rather, you know, the big thing is, oh, sign up and get a free t-shirt type of thing or whatever. Even though the rec committee, when they have their gazebo race, they don't give out t-shirts, they just give out, you know, ribbons at the end type of thing. So, you know, would you want to try and do something to that effect where, you win a water bottle if you're first place type of thing? You know, because you really, if you start giving away money, you're taking money away from the cause, so to speak, potentially taking money away from the cause. Either that, or we could possibly solicit some gift certificates or something to that, and have them as, first place, second place awards, and you don't have to get in, doing something like that. You don't get in the expense of printing t-shirts and, again, taking money out of the pot type of thing.
I keep in mind, I'm not thinking of a race or a competition. I'm just thinking of come and walk and support veterans and make a donation. So,
all right, okay.
you can walk the course.
took it.
You can walk
Okay.
the course in 10 minutes, or you can walk the course all day long. You can walk, you can push the baby stroller, you can ride your tricycle, you can bring kids, and you got a a family member in a wheelchair, it doesn't matter, just come and take
Okay.
part in the event.
All right.
And perhaps if we reach out to some of the financial institutions in town, they'll come and set up a table and hand out water, and yeah, maybe they'll give away water bottles,
Yeah.
Those are some of the pieces of the puzzle. I'm gonna have to go out and reach out to people.
Okay, in that case, I apologize because as soon as you said 5K, I'm spinning on, this is a race type of thing. And that's why I sent out those 2 attachments. I was using a Google thing to measure my neighborhood and Airport Drive neighborhood, thinking we were going to be trying to run a 3.1 mile race. So, all right, so forget all that. And yeah, I'm on board with now I know what you're saying.
Right.
Sometimes, it takes a little while for the light to come on, but
It's been a rough month.
Yes,
Ding.
yes.
So once I get out onto the campus some weekend and open up my running app and figure out the mileage, we can pursue it from there. It might just be 3 laps around the campus. I don't know. It might be 2.5 laps, but either way, we'll
Yep.
figure it out and then figure out how to promote it, figure out if we can get people to come and support us and don't make donations, and we'll go from there.
Bob, I think one thing that'll help for next meeting is we can put together an attachment of the information that you have. I really want to make sure that everybody's aware of like the money issue. There's several things here that we'll have to make sure that we do correctly. So we can just put together a quick attachment with those notes on it, and I'll just put it on the next agenda to keep us all on the same page. So you and I can work that offline. Any other questions or comments, Sean?
like I said, I keep thinking of things to add to our meet and greet, not agenda, but list of things. Hey, look forward to this upcoming event. Is one more, it's like a line on a resume. That's what I'm looking at. The more lines you put on a resume, sometimes the better it looks without becoming white noise. But yeah, so I like the idea, and if we put it on the meet and greet, I don't know, not signage or whatever, but something to say, hey, we're doing something else too. Go ahead.
Have we requested time in front of the select board
For the meet and greet?
for anything? We should probably ask to sit down in front of them and say, hey, listen, we're approaching 1 year since you created this committee. Here's what we've accomplished, and here's what we're thinking of doing. And just doing that on camera in front of them goes a long way. People hear about it.
So we did talk to them whenever we got renominated, but we have not been there since.
Right.
So
Prior to the renomination process, we should go in and just say Veterans Advisory Committee update. We just want to. We're just tooting our own horn. I think we're all pretty capable of that.
yeah. No, I think that's a good idea. We can look to do something. You and I we'll talk about that to see what that would look like.
Yeah.
And are we asking for permission, or are we just giving them an update?
No, we're not asking permission. We're just giving an update. Yeah.
Okay.
We can invite Sean too, assuming his email works.
Yeah. Okay. Sean, real quick, I thought of one. Go back on the signs.
Yeah.
I like, reuse, reduce, recycle. So if we do signs, I'd like for them to either have a spot where we can update the date. So it's like just a line, and it's like a dry erase marker that we can just write the date on or something like that, or we could put a piece of paper over. So then that way, because the meet and greet is something we want to redo throughout the time. It's the same with the food drive. So if we could get signs that say, Veterans Advisory Committee meet and greet, and it's an arrow or something like that, or like I said, there's a spot where we can add in our own date. So then we can reuse it for future events.
What I've done in the past when I was making events from my work, just what you said. You have all your information, but you have a block where it's blank. You hot glue Velcro to it, and you have a separate piece of plastic, whatever it is. You put your date on it, you Velcro it in, and it's, yeah, exactly. Just what you said. That's a great idea.
So, okay. Are there any other items that somebody would want to bring up?
Justin, I have two very quick ones.
Okay.
One is Jeff Farrell has told me last night he has obtained the additional 100 or so flags for Memorial Day. Justin Sousa had ordered 1,800. I told him that my list more or less specified about 1,900, including the new cemetery, the Yale Cemetery across the street. So he's obtained an additional 100 plus flags for Memorial Day. And secondly, I had a discussion with a very reliable source that told me tonight not to mention his name, and I won't. But we have a problem with the Sampson Square at South Grafton because of the construction on Main Street. They just found out today that the sewerage line that they've already installed under a paved road on Main Street is not big enough to accommodate the additional 200 plus houses up on the hill behind St. James Church. So they're going to have to tear up the road from Murray Ave all the way to, I guess, almost to the mill parks, which is going to make it kind of difficult for us to do anything at Sampson Square. Right now, we don't have a flagpole. The big rock that has all the names on it is over behind the fire station in South Grafton. And so we don't know yet where we're going to honor anyone at Sampson Square. I know there's a meeting somewhere. I heard through the grapevine, I thought it came from you guys. If somebody's going over to Post 92 in the future from our group, and with the VSO to talk about Memorial Day.
Bill, was that? I can't remember. Did you say that you were going to talk to them?
Well, Veterans Day, not Memorial Day. When I went over there and approached them about Veterans Day, they immediately started off with Memorial Day. And I said, this is not Memorial Day I'm talking about. This is Veterans Day. Oh, we reserve Veterans Day for those who are still living.
Yeah.
And that was the response I got. And they were very adamant about it. And that's pretty much what came out of it.
Okay. Would you want to talk to them about Memorial Day?
If I do, I may be getting into more than what I would beg bargain for.
Okay.
With it, again, I think I struck a nerve with them when I said Veterans Day. They didn't get hostile, nothing like that. They were very adamant about Memorial Day. And then I can't seem to get through to people that Veterans Day is also for both alive and dead. And they can't seem to understand that. I don't know why there's such a major block. But it's to the point to where it's beating a dead horse. I did a little bit of work around, and when it comes to dealing with that issue, again, I can only go by what I've experienced with Westboro because I've been with them for so long, for the Legion and VFW. It's like night and day between the two.
Yeah. Okay. Andy, I'll reach out to Carmen. Or Sean, were you going to say something?
I was going to just say, if you want, I would make an inquiry to ask them. So we're talking about Sampson Square specifically. What?
No. Well, so two things. We need to reach out with them about their Memorial Day parade anyway.
Okay.
and see what all they want our help with. I'm assuming they're going to want help with the scouts again.
And maybe Flag Day, the weekend, which is not Flag Day, the day they put flags at the
Yeah.
cemeteries.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah. So
I'm calling it Flag Day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
so we need to reach out and find out about Memorial Day, but then also about Sampson Square, and to see
Yep.
if there's anything that we can do. I can't think of I mean, if it's construction and it's all torn up, I don't think there's anything we can do. If there's something with the town saying, hey, we're blocking this off because eventually we're going to do construction, and we can work with the town maybe to allow us to hold a ceremony there.
Yeah.
We can ask Evan for that, but if it's all construction and it's torn up for that stuff, then we'll just have to figure something else out.
Well, you've got reasonably close is obviously the fire station, if it's accessible. I mean, and then the post that's, well, a little bit further down the street. You're right. All right. Well, do you want me to run with that one or what?
But let me reach out first.
Okay.
I'll reach out
All right.
first. You've got a lot
Very
going
good.
on with the meet and greet. So I'll give, I think I have Carmen's phone number. I'll give him a call.
Okay.
If you don't, I do, Justin, I'll send it to you.
Okay. Yeah, I appreciate it. And if you could also send me in that email your phone number as well, because I want
Oh,
to
sure.
put you in the, thank you.
While we're on that subject here, can we get my Andy on here instead of Andrew, just for kicks? Everyone else seems to have a nickname, and you're Justin, but you don't have a nickname of the Justin, but I do, and it's Andy.
Okay, there we go.
Thank you.
How's that?
Anything else?
Hey, great. I thought it was that, but you said I asked last time. Thank you.
Okay. Then, yeah, Bob.
I'm gonna go back to a different topic, so if you're not done, I'll wait.
No, I was just going to jump into the trustees next. So if you want to,
Okay, yeah, let me ask this question and then we can switch over.
Okay.
Can anybody come up with a catchy name or phrase for this walk for the DAV?
If you
For
want to call it,
For example, I take part in an event that's called Jogging for Frogmen. Jogging for Frogmen, that's the name of the event. So you do the 5K and it's money that goes in support of like Navy SEALs Foundation. So there's got to be something catchy like that we can call it. If you have an idea, just email it to me because something mundane like Veterans Walk, where
honestly, I'm sitting here thinking we walk because we can't run disabled vets, but
well, you don't want to personalize it and call it the Jim Gallagher 5K?
Oh,
yeah, I didn't even think of that. That's a great idea.
Fine.
you could.
so I was waiting for Holly I was hoping that Holly would be on because I was going to suggest that we want to do that with the food drive, but we can also do that with the 5K. Either or.
And I think
Memorial 5K.
I think calling it a 5K is probably the wrong thing. I think we should just call it a.
You're right. I'm sorry. The
it's okay.
light turned off.
We can call it the Jim Gallagher Memorial Walk Run Event. Something like. I mean, that's kind of wordy, but
Yeah.
I think
No.
if we call it a 5K, people are going to say, "Well, how do I register? Where do I get my number? What do I win?" It's not a race, All right, I'll work on that. But if you come up with any ideas, that's
Yeah.
Okay. And we also need to think of dates. I've kind of thrown around with Bob. Is this something that we would want to do on Veterans Day? Bill, to your point, we keep running into problems. Well, maybe this is the event that we do on Veterans Day and we build off of it. So it's something to think about. Let's look at, we've got a food drive, we got a meet and greet going on right now. We got the rest of the year that we need to also plan out some things for. So.
Okay.
There's something I'd like to add, and I'm not sure if anybody would be interested in it. Tomorrow at the Westboro Senior Center, we're having Clear Path, a company out of Fort Devens, coming down
Yep.
to host a dinner for up to 200 veterans, Westboro veterans. And this is their initial ribbon cutting ceremony. I pretty much, I'm the one that put everything together and got everything sewn and whatnot. And they are interested in going around to various communities to seeing, first of all, we need to find out if it's going to be successful over there. And if it is, Jeremiah, who is the point of contact up at Devens for Clear Path, we can invite them to come to Grafton. And the same thing goes with, there's a company out of Worcester called New Hope, which does a lot of donation work. They're excellent company. I actually ran into them when we did our St. Patrick's Day parade in Worcester. So I do have some points of contact if Grafton would be interested in having Clear Path come down with their food trailer and serve a free dinner to veterans and their families. That's what's going to happen tomorrow over there in Westboro.
I'm down. I am all about bringing all of these resources to Grafton.
And
So
I,
yeah, if you want to put us in touch with, put Bob and I in touch with the POC, and we can start talking, and then we'll go.
I'm gonna meet up with them tomorrow at the event, so I can relay the information at that time to them.
Perfect.
If you guys want to send me your contact information via a text. And again, I've been very, very, very busy with that, and tomorrow's game time. So, but amongst other things, as you're aware.
Yeah. So no, I appreciate that, and yeah, I will. If you don't hear from me tonight, text me tomorrow, and I'll get you my contact info.
If this thing turns out half as good as we're expecting it to turn out, this could be a very good thing for Grafton and for the Veterans Advisory Board, and especially if we get the Legion and the VFW, who seem to have some kind of little raised hair with the Veterans Advisory Board. I don't know the history, and it's none of my concern. But if we can get them involved in this, maybe we can finally get everything worked out.
Yeah, I agree.
Bill, that was one of the reasons I wanted to join the board in the first place, to be a contact with telephones. I hate them. Go away.
Advertisement, they're not worth
Sit
it.
on the thing, maybe you'll stop ringing. No, I wanted to be a contact to bring information from this board to Post 92 American Legion and to VFW in South Grafton, so that whatever came out of this board, they'd know about, and so it's not to keep them out of the loop on something, you know?
Well, here's
As a
another-
liaison or whatever.
what was that, Andy?
I want to work as a liaison between this group and VFW and American Legion Post, so that they're on board with what we're trying to do. And conversely, whatever they have plans we know about. So
Right.
conflicts.
Well, also you might want to know is that the state VFW is going to be at this event tomorrow, as well. As far as I know, the Legion is going to send a group down. So the thing is that they're going to be well aware of this event. And if it turns out to be successful, they may actually also reach down to the Post and say, hey, what are you doing to help get this involved with the town's veterans and get them out of their houses and get them down to meet you guys?
Yep.
Awesome. Yeah, I think, Andy, I love the fact that you're going to be a liaison. This is something that I've tried to work with the Legion and the VFW in the past. It hasn't worked out. So I think that will be very important.
I'm a member of VFW, life member of VFW, and also I help with the parade committee functions as well. So I know a lot of the guys, you know, and
Okay.
one of the biggest problems with what they're saying is these guys are coming in and they're going to change everything. And I'm telling them, no, what they're going to do is come in and try to do something that to make it better for you guys, to take some of the load off you, that when you're trying to do something, let us help you.
Hey, Justin or Andy, if you do have any time tomorrow, why don't you stop by the senior center in Westboro and you can actually meet these gentlemen. One is Bill. I can't remember his last name, but he's with New Hope out of Worcester, and Jeremiah is out of Clear Path out of Devons. If you guys want to swing by tomorrow between 4 and 7, you could actually meet them, and we could lay the groundwork for that. And I could help you guys out with, getting everything planned, because literally that's what I've been doing.
Okay. Yeah, I'll get in touch with you tomorrow. I got to see what my schedule is doing. Yeah, I'll get in touch with you tomorrow.
I'm at VA hospital all day tomorrow. No time zone.
Oh, you're VA tomorrow, Andy?
Oh,
Okay.
God. Yeah,
Good luck with that.
One of my 76 trips so far this year.
Just make sure you make the right turn. You don't go into the proctologist's office. I know how your Air Force got.
Hey, being recorded, be careful.
Providence or Boston?
Bill,
Worcester.
if I,
Oh, the outpatient clinic.
Yeah.
Sean, did you have something?
Bill, the senior center, Westboro, is that on the right, just past Lyman Street?
Yeah, it's 4 Rogers Road. So as you go down, like you're heading out towards East Main Street, like you're going out towards McDonald's and the post office, right when you get to that intersection where you have Lyman Street that goes up to Route 9, if you go about 50 meters off to the right, you'll see Rogers Road. There's a glowing Westboro sign there, and there's also the sign for the Westboro Senior Center. If you take that right, follow the road, and it curves up to the left, and you'll be right there at the Senior Center.
And you said 4 to 7 p.m.?
Roger, 1600 to 1900 hours. I'll be there at 1500 getting things set up.
Okay. I mean, if I can, I'd like to just fly by and just to see what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. We have had a little bit of interference because we've had people thinking it's for homeless people. No, it's for veterans of Westboro, and that's where they're serving the meal. So I've had to make it kind of known that this is for the Westboro veterans. They have the priority in the food line, that type of thing.
Okay.
There's a little misconception. I posted at the Worcester VA hospital where Andy's going, and I've already had some questions. Oh, is this for all veterans? No, it's for Westboro veterans. You're
Okay.
welcome to come by, of course, and take a look. Absolutely.
All right. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
All right. I want to transition now to the trustees meeting because it's already 8 o'clock. I know we got started a little late, but do you want to move into page 2 of the agenda? And I'm sorry. Yep, Bob.
Motion, we adjourn the Veterans Advisory Committee.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Second. All right. Motion to adjourn, Bill.
Nope.
Do you agree?
All right, that's all.
No. Do you agree with the motion to adjourn? Roll call vote.
Oh, aye, of course.
Sean,
Yes.
Lucas,
Aye.
Bob, Justin, aye. We will adjourn the Veterans Advisory Committee and open the trustees meeting. Okay, so this is where it will get a little weird because on this, Andy was elected for the trustees, but not the Veterans Advisory, which is why I have not. Yep, Bob.
So let me clear up any confusion before we go too far.
Yes, please do.
So Evan stated that because we have a home rule charter, when we were all appointed as a group to be added to the roles of trustees of soldiers and sailors, all of those questions and all of that confusion went away. In other words, there were guidelines laid out by the state.
Yep.
But we changed our charter under home rule, and then it was ratified by the Commonwealth. So we're good to operate the way we are. That makes sense?
Yes and no, because it's
Andy Chicken
not
said yes,
updated.
so-
Well, so this is where I get confused because the Massachusetts general law says that you're gonna have 5 members,
Right,
3 who will be veterans and 2 who are not veterans.
Mhm.
So,
we can worry about the makeup later, but
Yeah.
we're good to operate as we stand right now.
okay,
We're not held to that state rule or law for the soldiers and sailors. I myself and Deb Goslin are the only 2 that are left on the original committee.
Yep.
Bill Drago, Dave Callahan, and Bill Cutler all resigned. Although David has not submitted a letter to say that. I was not elected. I was appointed, as were the other 5 members.
yeah, sorry, I said elected, I meant appointed.
Okay.
Well, and Bob, the thing that gets me with the charter is I asked for that new charter and the clerk's office does not have it. So, and they pointed me to the website and the website does not have the charter.
Nope.
So
Maybe when we go before the select board, we can ask for a chart.
I think we need right. Like I trust Evan. I don't think he's leading us down the wrong path, but I keep being told that this stuff has changed and I'm just not seeing it. So I want to make sure that we're good. With that said, so the direction is that everyone, okay, well, based off of what you just said, is that everyone from the Veteran Advisory Committee now on the trustees. So we are all voting members.
Right, everybody has an equal vote, correct?
Andy, when you took the oath, did you only take the oath for the trustees or did you also take it for the
I
veterans?
took it for both.
You took it for both. And I think
Yeah.
I asked you this last time, so I
Now,
need to remember that you
I
can
know-
be included.
I know you want to talk about nomination of board members for this board. When I left the soldiers and sailors 3 years ago, it was a leave of absence set up with Tim McInerney, the prior town administrator.
Mhm.
With the thought that I would return when I had time to do it, which I do now, and return to the president. I guess I'm just a member like all the rest of you guys. So I have no one to nominate myself for president but myself, and I'd like to put my hat in the ring.
Okay. Do we have other nominations?
I'll nominate Justin Stone as chairman of the trustees of Soldiers and Sailors Committee.
All right.
Need a second.
I second.
Need a second on either Andy or me.
I second.
Which one?
Well, Andy,
Andy?
yeah,
All right.
I like you,
Lucas.
Justin. Wrong.
Justin.
And Sean? You're on mute.
Justin. Go for it.
Okay. 3-2. I have to vote, don't I? I will vote myself. So, Andy, it'll keep it cleaner with the agendas.
Yeah.
At least. So we also need a vice chair. So is there a nomination for a vice chair?
I'll nominate Andy as vice chair.
So thank you.
I second. No?
No, I'll stay as a member at large on this board. You guys can figure it out.
All right.
Okay,
Okay, so how about this? I nominate that the Veterans Advisory Committee officers are also the officers on the trustees.
second.
Second,
Make-
Sure.
everybody agrees with that? Andy?
Yeah.
And Lucas, I, okay.
Aye.
So we will continue to do this. Once we get a little bit further, into this and we get it all stood up, there's nothing preventing us from having different officers or anything like that. But for now, we'll make sure that we get it all set up. On the agenda, so there were two things in particular that, Andy, you brought up a Vietnam plaque last time, adding some additional names. And then there was also Flagpole Memorial
Right.
that you and Jim were working.
Mhm.
So would you mind just giving us an update on those two items?
Well, I had a conversation with Andy Jefferson this afternoon, and finding this agenda in my email, I didn't know the meeting was gonna be this soon, for this board. I called him and asked him some specific questions. He did get back to me with regard to the plaque. Go back about 2.5 years when I was still on this board, okay? We had several people one guy from North Carolina, another guy from Arizona want to know why their names were not on the Vietnam Memorial plaque in Veterans Hall. We did some research and we found that, I think Dave Callahan told me there's 148 names that should have been included on that first plaque, but for some reason weren't. So that was the intent of the committee to like we do for municipal quotes. We need 3 quotes from 3 sources to make a plaque so that the selectmen or whomever is going to pay for this thing can decide what company is going to make it. Somebody has a high vote, somebody has a low quote, somebody has a medium quote. It's not necessarily the low one that gets the bid, because the low one may not produce what you want. So someone makes the decision. We never had a budget. It was under Justin Sousa's budget, a one line item under his, and we could not afford to buy that plaque for have it made and have it installed for $1,500. So we went out, asked quotes from 3 sources, and I approached Justin Sousa to put a grant in for a heritage grant from the state of Massachusetts, that every year they provide funding for something to do with veterans. Okay, and the deadline was supposed to be for November, and the grant application did not get in on time for whatever reason, who knows. And shortly after that, I left the committee. Now I'm back on, and I want to make sure that we as a board now can go forward. I asked, number one, I asked, I think, yeah. I had asked Jeff, about the funding for this thing. I'm a little skewed right now, but the bottom line is, I want to go out to attempt to go out to the 3 people that made the original quotes and try to get the SHRAB, that's the Heritage Grant, to pay for half the cost of it. Now, Andy Jefferson, who's on the Board of Selectmen, he had done some research for me, and he told me that the SHRAB grant had closed on January 30 this year for 2023. So I don't know that we can be ready for the fall when the new grant comes out for 2024. I'd like to follow through with it, get the 3 quotes, and prepare the grant application for November, so that we can attempt to get half funding for this thing.
Yep.
All right.
I might be able to get Evan to pay for it.
Yeah, well, Evan, Evan has money, but he doesn't want to tell anybody he does. He's like Tim McInerney. He always had a little fun someplace. And I kind of miss Bill Drago on this committee because for some reason, whenever I need money and the town couldn't find it, he did.
Yeah.
You know,
Excuse
Once
me,
you get,
Andy, a point of clarification, are you saying HSO? I'm having trouble hearing the initials you were talking about from my notes.
the question again,
You said you were going to, I thought I heard the SHO for grant funding.
no, I want to take the lead on getting the 3 quotes again so that we can apply for that grant in the fall.
What, all right, I'm sorry, then what's the name of the grant?
It's an SHRAB. If you go out to mass.gov, it's a heritage grant. I can't give you the, there's so many particulars involved with it, so many places that have applied. But they have guidelines on what they will accept. And we were kind of pre-approved for it. We were kind of pre-approved for it, but we had to file the application to make it legal, so to speak.
Okay.
But for some reason, our application got in late and we were not granted what we requested.
Okay.
Yes, Bob.
I just want to give everybody a piece of information that might help move this along. I recently sat down with Evan, and one of the things I asked him was, we had requested that the committee be given a budget.
Yeah.
He advised me that that money had been put into the budget for us. It was put under, I think it was put under Veterans
It's
Advisory.
still under veterans. Yeah.
Right, but the money will be there in July when the fiscal year takes over. So between now and July, all we can do is the homework.
Right.
You know, we can't do anything until the money actually gets assigned to us.
And anything we do now that costs money, we still have to go through Jeff Darrell's budget at this point until Evan comes up with money for us.
yep. Bob, did he tell you how much money?
1,500.
I thought it was a little more than that, but it might be 1,500, could be 2,000. I just don't recall.
Okay. So, yeah, Andy, yeah, we need those 3 quotes, and then once you get the 3 quotes, I said I have no problems approaching Evan now and asking him for money for this.
One of them was Olympic, I remember, and they're still in business. I don't remember off the top of my head who the other 2 were.
Okay.
Okay. But it's our intention to make a second plaque.
Yep.
And put the 148 names on it. And whatever is next to the current Vietnam Memorial, move it over to the right or left and put this plaque right next to the original.
Yeah, that works.
And Mr. Berger told me that the town would handle the installation for us.
Okay. Are there any other questions or comments on the Vietnam plaque? Okay, the flagpole memorial. Now, this was something that Jim was talking to us about. He had a plan. He was going to start talking to some of the other committees in the spring. I'm hoping that you're aware of what his plan was and who those, because I cannot remember the committees he had mentioned. He said he was handling it.
He looked at, he put a request in through CPA.
Yep.
And was denied. He
Okay.
put a request in through CPC and he was denied for funding.
Okay.
The flag, with the flagpole, there's 2 things with the flagpole. One is the flagpole itself. The other is the signage for the cemetery. Okay, A and B on the same proposal. So I have gone out, I have quotes for the flagpole. I have two right now. I have a third one in process, but again, I will have the three. There's a problem with both the flagpole and the signage. It goes with the indigenous people. Now, with the old cemetery as being the first cemetery in town of Grafton, it was laid out and started to be used in 1734, and the town was incorporated in 1735. It was set out as a 2-acre parcel, and now it's approximately 4 acres. We have, I think there's a little over 400, maybe 428 graves available in that cemetery, of which 102 are veterans. It was Jim and my intent to try to get a flagpole there to honor those veterans, because when they go in on Memorial Day, they generally, as all the other cemeteries, gather around the flagpole, read the honors list, have a firing squad, have a chaplain's prayer, and then they go to the next site. But they can't do that. They just form someplace wherever they can and do the ceremony without a flagpole. So Jim and I approached Jim and asked him if your committee could help out, because I was getting nowhere. I had approached Evan last year, and he said, well, we don't have any money. Well, they always say that when you talk to them. But being a pain, which I am, I persisted and said, he said, well, the VFW maybe should buy that flagpole because that's what they do. And I said, well, tell me when the VFW assumed responsibility, or when the VFW owned that cemetery. He's, well, they don't. The town does. I said, well, that's my point. The town should pay for the flagpole. Back and forth. All right. So now I asked him, I said, look, if I can't get the money from you now, I have no recourse but to go to town meeting. Okay. And I'll bring 350 veterans with me, and we'll find some way of getting that flagpole. Money isn't the problem right now. The problem right now is the indigenous people. What Andy Jefferson tells me is we're trying to develop a policy between the town and the indigenous people. They have to decide whether or not they want a flagpole. They have a lot of their people buried there. We have a lot of our people buried there. Town's going to try to make a policy with them to, I offered through Andy Jefferson, who seems to be running with this indigenous peoples thing policy. I asked him, perhaps, seeing there's no flagpole there now, perhaps we put two up. And one is American flag and one is the indigenous people. They fly their flag next to our flag. If that happens to be the way that we can get them to agree to put the American flag there. It's kind of out of my hands. I'm ready to go with it. I'm ready to go forward. But we have to get their permission first.
Okay.
They have a meeting with the town sometime in April, early April. And I've asked Andy, and he has asked Evan to bring this proposal to them during that meeting, see what happens. In any case, I don't see a flagpole there before Memorial Day. I'm hoping perhaps for Veterans Day. I don't know.
So what I had before, I didn't know about the indigenous people problem. But what I was talking to Jim about before is maybe we can work with the historical committee, because they have money, and we can bill it as, hey, this was the first cemetery in Grafton. We should be able to put a plaque up that recognizes that, I think some of the founding families are buried there, and we can also highlight veterans on it as well. And that might also work out where we can highlight the indigenous people, we can highlight the founding families, and we can highlight the veterans. And I think this would be something that the historical committee would be interested in. So
we had taken, Jim and I had taken the ball. We had talked to the Historical Society, we talked to a couple other people. And I had talked to Darrell Roberts, who's the cemetery commissioner for all the Grafton cemeteries. I said, we really don't need a big sign.
Yep.
Similar to all the other cemeteries, we would have on 4x4s, a piece of plywood painted green like all the others. And somewhere on that sign, I would like to have I'd like to honor somebody that was like 93 years old. He had served in the Revolutionary War and War of 1812 and a whole bunch of other stuff in between, and also Civil War at age 93. Kind of old to be a soldier, but I guess he had it in his blood. He went from a private to, I believe, lieutenant or a full colonel. Okay. But I'd like to honor him on that sign. Why? Because after everything he did, fighting wars and stuff, and trying to save Grafton and everything, he was a selectman. Okay, he's one of us. He really he deserves an honor on that sign somewhere, and so people will realize that is our first cemetery. 16 to 17 of the original founders of this town are buried there. It's got historical importance. It needs a sign that needs a flagpole.
Yep.
Okay.
I agree. So I'll reach out to my contacts over in the historical committee and talk to them and see if we can tag up with this, and then that might help out with the indigenous people conversation. If two committees are saying, hey, we're approaching this from different angles, and like I said, the historical committee has money and they seem like they're willing to spend it, so that could also help us out with that. So I'll reach out to them tomorrow on that one. Any other questions or comments on the flagpole memorial? Okay.
To adjourn.
I'm sorry?
Motion to adjourn.
I have one question. So part of the trustees charter or charge is making sure that we're taking care of all the memorials around the town of Grafton.
Mhm.
Is there a list of all the memorials around the town of Grafton? And is there some kind of cleaning schedule, inspection schedule, or something to make sure that they're upkept?
All the monuments were cleaned. Darrell Roberts contacted someone and they cleaned them and they sealed them, which keeps the acid rain off the stone and off the plaques and all the other stuff. I believe 2 years ago. All right. Now, as far as a repeat on some of those, I don't know at this point, but we picked up another monument. A lot of people don't realize it's the Polish National Home that was recently torn down. We have a new monument for 40 or 50 Polish people that served in World War II. Okay, and that monument, I believe, is over in front of the VFW building in South Grafton. So that's
the one that was in front of the Polish house moved down to the park.
It's down to the park now?
Yeah. Bob and I helped coordinate the move with Evan, and that got moved.
But that's another monument that we now have taken, that Mr. Roberts has taken under his wing, clean. So as far as, like I said, as far as having a schedule to do that, I don't know if it's in existence yet.
Okay. I'll reach out to Daryl Robinson.
I'll send his phone information when I send you the other one that I wrote down here.
Perfect. Yeah, I just want to get a list and see about some kind of, make sure that we're doing that part of our job. Okay. Bob,
Motion to adjourn.
can I get a second?
Aye.
All right, motion to adjourn, roll call vote, Bill,
Yeah.
Andy,
I.
Lucas,
Aye.
Sean,
Hi.
Bob.
Aye.
Justin, aye. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you so much. Our next meeting will be April 20th.